What's up, Womack Nostalgia? Dave here with a review of PinkPantheress' second mixtape, Fancy That. Pink is back after the debut album at the end of 2023, the first mixtape in 2021. PinkPantheress, UK singer. If you've heard her, you're certainly a fan. You're certainly aware that Pink is a rapidly rising star of the new generation. I still think there's room for Pink to grow in terms of commercial appeal and just general popularity, but despite all that, she has two songs approaching 1 billion streams on Spotify with Pain and Boy's a Liar Part 2 with Ice Spice. I was a big fan of Pink's debut album, Heaven Knows, from 2023, and that was the first time she was making music that very much felt and was constructed in more of a traditional setting, and since that album, I mean, she has openly expressed that she doesn't even think songs should be past 2.5 minutes long. Most of her biggest hits are short songs, very much like the evolution of the sample. That's very much how she, came up, of course, with TikTok and whatnot. But I like that debut album because it felt like a step forward structurally in terms of her really becoming a serious artist for the first time. And, I think that album actually, in hindsight, and having listened to Fancy That, feels like only a half step forward, because Fancy That to me is her best project to date. I think this is honestly quite excellent. If you're a fan of her music, this is tremendous. And 9 songs, only 21 minutes, still very short music, as Pink likes to do. But I feel like there's so much here. PinkPantheress' second mixtape, Fancy That, is the continuation of Pink's sound, club forward, bedroom pop, but truly at this point, UK garage, drum and bass. The production is so impressive because that pulsating groove is always there, but there's so many layers to this. For such a short tape, there's, I think, so much to revisit and enjoy with this production, and the melodies are there and they're not repetitive. Almost every one of those 9 songs does something unique and something fun. There's some really interesting samples on this project that are very much in your face but feel quite creatively used. Pink's ear for melody, as well as song structure, switch ups, and just general changes with the vibe, I think is very clear. Comes across as such a charismatic artist, despite the fact that she's kind of an understated singer most of the time. I just don't know who's doing this type of music better than her right now. The first song, Illegal, I think that synth loop is great, kind of a bop. Again, those understated lyrics on full display here. I think it's a great opener. The second song, Girl Like Me, kind of like a new BPM range from Illegal, but kind of a similar loop, so the vibe still kind of remains. I think the Let It All Go hook, is probably just okay, but I still like the song overall. And then that leads us to Tonight, which was the first single from this. I mean, this is a banger for PinkPantheress. You have this haunted house-esque violin to open it up. Then we jump in with the beat, and it's just a complete breakbeat, obviously. Pre-chorus is incredibly catchy. I think some of the best singing from Pink is on the chorus to Tonight. And then I think lots of fun lyrical moments. I mean, the Sex is on Fire, Arcade Fire reference, very obvious there. And of course, the Panic at the Disco, Do You Know What I'm Seeing sample on full display as well. I think Tonight's tremendous. It's catchy. It's so fun to revisit. Definitely one of my favorite songs of the year for sure. The next song, Stars, also has a really big sample. It's Just Jack's Stars in Their Eyes. I think that sample is used in a really fun, engaging way, and the tempo of the song is just great. And in general, this whole mixtape just moves at such a pace. Again, for such a short project, only 20 minutes long, there's just so much here to enjoy, and it never gets dull or stale. We have this intermission interlude, and then you have the song Noises, which I think is the least successful of all these songs. Despite all that, it does have a pretty amusing sample, which is Nardo Wick's Who Wants Smoke. The viral sound from that, what the fuck is that, from a few years ago. Was not expecting to hear that, but that was pretty funny. Then we have Nice to Know You, which is, I guess, the sequel in theory to Nice to Meet You from the last album, which of course features Central C, one of the biggest songs off the project. This sample I think is really fun because playing with Pink's vocals. You have these orchestral swells on the beat with the drums drop in. Another really good one. Then we have Stateside, which has a music video already, the second single. I actually like this a lot better in sequence. I think when I first heard it as the second single, I was like, well, I like Tonight so much more. I didn't really pay attention to the song that much. But when you listen to Fancy That, I think Stateside really stands out and is quite good. And then we end with Romeo, which is this epic closer of a song. You have a guitar line for maybe the first time on the whole tape. You have this playful cadence with the way Pink sings on it. And the beat is just awesome. I love the horns on it. You have this epic chorus. The beat gets even bigger on the chorus. The strings really pop on that. And as the outro happens, you have the background vocals kind of repeating the chorus and going like in tandem with Pink singing. I think it incredibly impressive song. I love the layering, the depth of the mixing with Romeo. It's great. And yeah, I mean, man, I think this is certainly one of my favorite projects of the year. I had Heaven Knows on my top 10 albums of 2023, and I think Fancy That is, despite being a project of half the length, I think it's even better. And yeah, I mean, this is definitely one of my favorite albums of the year thus far. That much is clear. I'm going to be revisiting a lot of these songs. I just think the energy that Pink can bring in such a fun, youthful, and yet new way is really pleasurable and fresh. It's funny to think about where she fits into the pop firmament these days. I mean, obviously A-list pop stardom went through such a transformation last year, as we talked about with Sabrina Carpenter and Chappell Roan, and older veteran like Charlie XCX really blowing up in the mainstream sense in a way she never did before. Where does PinkPantheress fit into that? I don't think music that is this electronic, this openly indebted to UK genres, I don't think that type of music is going to be like the cream of the crop of pop. But I mean, I think she's absolutely a significant figure when it comes to pop music right now, and it feels like she's only just getting started. We keep saying that after every project gets better than the last, but I still feel like there's so much untapped potential still, and if anything's ever going to hold her back, maybe it's vocally, maybe it's because she can be a bit sparse on her own songs, but vocally. But again, her vocals are just one piece of what it means to listen to a PinkPantheress song. And yeah, I'm very optimistic. But let me know, what did you think of PinkPantheress' second mixtape, Fancy That? What was your favorite song on the project? Let me know. And for more music reviews, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.